Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Kill 10 Rats. Welcome back to the Staglands. I am doing my second run-up on this particular tower because there was a bit of an unfortunate glitch that caused me to redo it. Nothing major, but unfortunately I had to somewhat discard previous footage since it was hard to go back to the point where I wanted to start re-recording because the tower does not allow you to save the game inside the tower. So yeah, we'll have to, just do this hopefully thoroughly and without too many mistakes, otherwise we'll be redoing a few fights in here over and over again. It's also apparently not an option to step outside and save because then the enemies will respawn, which in a way gives you a pretty nice chance to... Wow, whoa, 3 at a time. Okay, that's gonna be tough. This might actually be already a bit of a lost cause, but we'll see how we fare. 3 at a time of these guys is a little much. Why aren't you attacking, guys? I'm having this problem again today. I don't know why. I'm not changing anything in the way I'm manipulating the game, but I'm definitely facing that problem once more, where I just have to constantly issue my commands several times before they get executed. And yeah, that's again gonna be a bit of a problem there. Let's see. No, you are so going to die. Yeah, 3 of them is just one too many. I mean, I can probably make that work again by doing the whole headless chicken running around Benny Hill style tactics, and I will if I have to, but I'm more inclined to pull them like 1 or 2 at a time. If I can. That was possible earlier, so I don't really see why it wouldn't work now. There's just not very much room to maneuver, and there's probably more guys up there that I would otherwise pull into my combat, so that's not really an option. Let's see here. Should be doable though. I mean, even 3 of them are somewhat doable, but like I said, it would require too many of those fairly cheesy tactics again. Let's see. How many can we get? Can we get 1? Not that this isn't a cheesy tactic, but it's the preferred cheesy tactic. That's 2, okay. 2 is okay. I don't know why someone felt the need to pull more of them into the fight. I don't really need that. Now let's see. Can we get everyone to attack this gentleman here? Why are you not doing anything? Okay. Right. Going on Dakiana. I think it's probably more effective to heal here and not to have the shield up. But it's definitely challenging to keep them all healed at a level where it's okay. But yeah, okay. We've got 1 down. That's fine. But yeah, just seeing how much damage these guys do and how quickly you can lose a character. The fact that they don't let you save in here just doesn't sit well with me, I have to say. Like, this is one bit of criticism I have to make. This is, in my opinion, bad game design compared to how you do difficulty, because there is such a thing as making difficulty organic, and there is such a thing as making it completely arbitrary, and not letting me save in an area is the latter, where I'm just feeling like, okay, this is utterly contrived and pointless and really just done to you know, potentially make me fear this area more, but all it does really is just make me annoyed at the area, because I don't feel like not being able to save my progress makes the game in any way harder. It just makes it more irritating. But that's just my personal opinion. I very much subscribe to the difficulty philosophy of Mr. Hidetaka Miyazaki, also known as the lead designer of Demon's Souls and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, who usually, barring a few missteps here and there, does this thing quite a lot better. But of course, that's also a bit of a tall order, because that guy is just, I don't know, pretty much a league of his own. But hey, it's just a point I wanted to make. I don't think there's anything good about presenting you with an area in a game where you arbitrarily cannot save. It doesn't do anything for me. So yeah. Now, down here a puzzle awaits, and I'm almost glad that I've played through this already, because it definitely defeated me. And it seems these stairs are defeating our characters. Hang on, guys, please, can you move? What are you doing? Okay, you finally managed. So yeah, we have this, and we have a symbol on top of the, like over the door, outside. And that symbol is one we ran into before, and I really can't make sense of this puzzle. I cannot crack this logically. I have gone back to my notes, and I have seen this symbol in one of the blackboards that we found in the Hallowed Grove. But it's not arranged in this pattern. That whole blackboard wasn't arranged in this pattern. This symbol is in the middle, and then there is a 3 stripes going from bottom right to top left below it, and a lower left corner stripe above it. And I don't really know how this adds up, but the solution to the puzzle is, for some reason I cannot fathom, which is me being stupid. Like, there has to be a reason a way to discern this. This is definitely not on the game. This is entirely on me. But the solution seems to be the combination to do it like this. I hope I noted this down correctly. Yeah. And like I said, I couldn't tell you why. So the way I arrived at this, you know, if you're gonna be dumb, you better be tough. You just go and take one symbol, and then use the matching symbol to it, go one up, and go try it out. And then I just cycled through all the possible permutations here until I arrived at the same symbol, and then I went one slot further, and eventually it opened. It took maybe 10 minutes or so. It's not too bad, but just so you don't get any ideas of me having somehow puzzled this out, it was definitely just, I guess, the analog version of a brute force attack. And it happens to work. Now let's see, this is about as far as I got, and then something happened to force the game to crash, which just rolled back the entire progress inside here, because you can't save, like I said, so that's a little awkward. I have to say though, this was, I think, the first crash ever? I think so, yeah, this must have been like maybe the second, but I'm not sure. I think I had one crash when I alt-tabbed, because the game, like alt-tabbing during a loading screen, because the game doesn't like that too much. But other than that, it's been really stable, so definitely not a problem with the game in this regard. It's more like a problem of timing. Oh, we leveled up. I don't think that happened last time. I don't think I ever got to kill this guy before the game croaked. That's nice. Let's quickly distribute our points in our primary stats and see where that gets us. Right, now you are going to go full whirl. I'm actually gonna do it. Okay, I'm actually gonna do it this way, I think. That might actually be faster. Okay, go back. Distribute your stat points. Distribute your stat points. And get you some more healing skills. Because I feel like we need those. And you as well, my friend. There we go. Now stats, we need your stats to go up a little. And we need your stats to go up a little. Alright, that's our leveling done. See, are there any more guards up here? Okay, there's one more, definitely. Ooh, that's a lot more. And we don't want them all at once, though. No, thank you. We are quite fine here. Okay. I'll just take you on this way. See how we can separate them. Because they have, like, they seriously, they can kill us really quickly. I don't know what that ability is that they do where it's basically just ripping our party to shreds, but I think it's, like I said, it's probably the same ability that we have on him. What's it called? Concentration, I think. Probably is that one. In any case, let's see if we can get one more somehow. Okay, we get two more. That's not so good, but hopefully we'll be fine. Let's see if we can get these guys out of the way and then start laying down the heals as soon as we need to. Like I'm trying to be a little bit careful with the healing here and just immediately laying the heals down instead of shielding us, mainly because I feel like the shield is almost a little secondary in these circumstances. Okay, these seem to be the other type of guard that don't have the debuffing skill then, because we're not taking that much damage. Okay, that's fine then. Just the ones downstairs had that where you have the red, those red icons show up here, and it's basically when that happens, you immediately lose your, like, it takes like 2 or 3 swings and you lose like half your health. Right. And I'm not even sure. This is probably open now. Yeah, I think I saw that earlier from... I think I went into this view mode and I could see a gate up here, and then I went downstairs and unlocked it in the previous recording. But I haven't been here, so I hope we can save there. We can't. And there's a guard. Okay, what else? Okay, this isn't looking like a good escape route. I'm just trying to scope out a way to set ourselves up so we can do the whole running away thing from enemies while still maintaining line of sight with our healers. And I think if we... Oh god, dude. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Probably more than that. Oh man. This is gonna be pretty awful if we have to fight. Ah. Well, there we have it. Octavian. A slender Varakov man with lustrous hair and a rich cloak stands at the top of the stairs, a hint of a smile lurking in his expression as he hungrily watches you ascend. His melodious voice calls out, its gentle cadences at odds with the intimidating fan of guards surrounding him. A door locks quietly in the background and, well, Nico steps forward. I believe thanks are in order, for it's such a pleasure to be proven right, and you have granted me that joy. I assured my sister Maya that our wits must have come from our father, and you'd be canny enough to find your way to my doorstep, and here you are. Then you must be my son. It appears the trail I've been following has led me to a trap. Well, that's pretty... I mean, we weren't exactly expecting to walk in here and not have a bunch of guards waiting for us. I fear that is the last pleasure you'll have, for you will soon feel only pain at my hands. Let's keep it neutral for now. Then you must be my son. In the flesh, or the half-flesh more accurately, I never managed to coax the sordid details of your affair with my mother out of my grandmother, but I'm sure you'll remember a young Zana you seduced one solstice eve. Fair as a spring morning, I was told. My twin sister looks nothing like her, sadly. She must have inherited your figure. Yes, I remember the Zana you speak of, although I did not know she bore my children. You could not possibly expect me to remember every beautiful creature that throws herself at me. I remember her, and I did not know she bore my children. Bore your children and died doing it. My sister and I were left at the hands of my grandmother, who, bless her departed soul, wasn't as sound of mind as two young demigods might have wished. You knew her, I believe, at one point. She is commonly referred to as the Wandering Lady, although mayhap she has a different name among the gods. The god of portals? I did not know she had a daughter. If you're referring to the god of portals, then I pity you, for she was downright insane the last I saw of her. Well, we didn't really see her insane, but we saw her ramblings. I did not know she had a daughter. Yeah. She certainly had her bad days, although when her daughter died, she began nurturing a hatred for you that would become an obsession. Such a waste for so powerful a god. This is why I don't bother with emotions at all. A poor use of energy that could be better spent manipulating your enemies and building a following of blind devotees. So he's a little bit of a sociopath. Is she the reason my portal was blocked? Did she close it? How clever of you to put those pieces together. I am glad to know my father has at least the wits of a farm child. Obviously she closed your portal, for who else has that power? Or had, I should say, for she took her life to cast the spell. Oh, okay. That's how that worked. Although I can't say I did much to persuade her to live, for her wrench fell in most conveniently with my own plans. I find your coldness disgusting. She raised you and speak of her death as if you desired it. I saw her in a dream, although I did not know it as such at the time. I'm sorry to have caused so much pain. Seems as though the Staglands are a better place without that witch running around. So she was the one in the intro. I sort of suspected, but wasn't entirely sure. I saw her in a dream, although I did not know it as such at the time. How intriguing. I had assumed an immortal like yourself would not carry a conscience. Or have you developed a conscience in your time among the mortals? Forgive me, I have spent much time pondering the ways of immortals, for I am not ashamed to admit that I lust for such power myself. I have always cared for those on Vol. I am not a monster like you to crave the death of the one that raised me. I must have picked up language more than a conscience, for I only responded in a way I thought appropriate, not what I felt. Well, those are a bit extreme. I don't really want to accuse him of being a monster, and I sort of think, since he already said he doesn't really do emotions all that well, the second option is probably more on. Is probably better to sort of get to a rapport with the guy. So let's go for 2. Fascinating. You'll have to tell me more at our next family reunion. I'm sure we'll be more at leisure and certainly more comfortable with one another. And here I've been laboring under some delusion that you want me dead. Why don't you tell me what this is all about? If you insist, I was enjoying our pleasantries, but I can... How you might find this urgent. I can see how you might find this urgent. My plans have been in the works for so long, you must excuse me for drawing out this moment. It's been no small undertaking, and I'm quite elated to see the last piece finally fall in place. And I am the last piece. Right, where was I? Oh yes, my dear grandmother slammed your portal shut with her dying breath, timed at the solstice, when she knew you'd be masquerading about in the Staglands as you do every year. You're not very discreet, you know. It would be rude of me to miss a celebration in my honor. Is that meant to be an insult? My goal is not discretion, but to mingle with the mortals of my favorite land. Yeah. Indeed, your intentions are not on trial. I merely meant to indicate it was not difficult to trap you on the Staglands, as you're nigh as predictable as the waxing and waning of your moon. That went smoothly enough, though the farce that followed might have been the work of an amateur. It was so poorly executed. What farce? You were never meant to wander the Staglands like a lost puppy. I had Serpent positioned in Lumentark to seek out faces that did not belong, possibly disguised, and if that failed, to stop anyone leaving the temple the next day. Though I did not imagine you'd be so crass as to run immediately. I feared the temple was not safe, and you have now confirmed this to be so. And what would you have done if you found me? I cannot fathom a scenario where I'd wish to be a pawn in your plans. Let's go with that one. I never intended danger for you, my dear Nikolai. Do I appear to be such a villain as that? I'm not the wandering lady to be nursing grudges. I merely wish an audience with you. Well, you do appear to be a villain like that, but, you know, let's not judge prematurely. It seems you went to extreme measures to obtain it, when you might have simply left a message with my priest. Oh, but you might have ignored it, and then what a heartbroken boy I would be. No, you'll find when you get to know me that I'm most thorough when carrying out my ambitions, and I do like to arrange things on my terms. You failed then, for I evaded you and your servants. I'm here now on my own terms, so I wish to destroy you. I do admire your ambition, though I would have preferred you chose a different target. Yeah. Well, I'm sure my mother would have preferred not to have been seduced by a god and left with his twins, but fate did not intervene for her, and it will not intervene for you. I will alleviate your fears right now, though, for you are not condemned to this mortal body forever. I have a deal for you. A deal, huh? Go on. I was not lucky enough to have inherited any of your power over the moon, although frankly it's not a very exciting domain. I cannot fathom why you chose it. Anyway, fortune was kind to me, and some of my grandmother's skill with portals seems to have dripped into my blood, and I watched and studied her most closely as a child to learn what I could. Ah, so you can open my portal for me. What is it you wish in return? Indeed, I cannot create portals, but I can have tested the strength of your broken one, and I'm confident I can restore it. I only ask one thing in return, and you can be free of the Staglands and free of the dangers of gallivanting about as a mortal. What is it? I'm not eager to help you, but I admit I'm intrigued. What is it? Nothing too taxing. I just need you to bend the path of your moon ever so slightly, just enough to raise the tides near the shore of Corum and sink the entire city and coastline under the sea. Okay, that doesn't seem like a bad offer. I expected something more momentous, but what of those in it? I cannot have heard you correctly. You wish me to sink an entire city? What of those in it? How can you ask such a thing? Does it matter? It is filled with mortals, and they will die now, or they will die in a year or 5 years. It cannot make a difference to a god. It does make a difference, for it is wrong, and I cannot condone such a wanton waste of life. What could be worth this? Power, Nikolai, and wealth. I have long wished to rule the Staglands in commerce and riches, if not in terms actual governing. Although I'm sure the councillors will be most amenable to my desire to create a head councillor position when I hold the reins to trade in the Staglands. For without a port city, the peninsula will have no resources and no hope. But you'll be drowning the only port city on the peninsula. No, I'm drowning my competition. Look what we're standing on, Nikolai. I've been building lighthouses down the coast for the past year, so ships can land here. I've been supplying my consul with cheap lumber, and the town has grown tenfold. In another year, Istakale will be the size of Corum, and all trade and wealth will flow through her coffers. That's a little petty. You cannot only be doing this to fatten your purse. There must be something else. The price is too high. Wealth is just one of many reasons, though it is not to be undervalued. Prestige, power, control, these are what I crave. I'll have every councillor, every guildmaster, every constable and arbiter eating out of my hand, dancing to my songs. But why do this, you ask? Because I can, Nikolai. Because politics is a game and I am cleverer and stronger than any other player. Really is a proper sociopath. That may be, and you may be more clever than I, but I do not have to agree. Though it will cost me my moon and mayhap my life. I dislike your schemes, and I fear will dislike myself for not opposing them, but I cannot rate a few mortal above my own life. Well, we'll have to at least try to fight our way out of this. You might call me a monster, but I have been paying attention to the trail of blood that you've been leaving in your wake as you've rampaged through the Staglands, and I'm not sure what moral high ground you are invoking by calling my deeds worse than your own. I'm not calling for the genocide of the Amethyvian race by drowning their city. I cannot think of anything I've done worse than what you propose. No, I'm not calling for the genocide of the Amethyvian race by drowning the city. No, let's recount a few of your more interesting encounters on the peninsula. Do you recall the natives? If not, you won't be alone, for no one will recall them soon at all, as you poisoned a lot of them with that gift you gave their ambassador. Come now, they don't count. They were barbarians and killing innocents. I did the Staglands a favor. I was merely trying to help the settlers of Emerald Metallis. I was saving them. They raised me, did you know that? And brutalized from the moment the Amethyvians washed ashore and declared the dirt below them their own. They were killed without mercy and forced from their homes for doing nothing but existing on a plot of land a purple wanted. Barbarians they certainly were, but I ask if the colonists were not more cruel. They did not have to fight violence with violence, they might have chosen peace. I suppose I cannot say that the colonists were completely faultless. And what of the towns you visited? Only pleasant hellos and fair bartering? If someone died at my hands, they deserved their fate. I'm surprised there was anyone left to report on your deeds, for you had a tendency to leave no survivors, even the ones that had nothing against you. Tell me again, how is killing every man, woman and child in an entire town different than sinking Coram? I can't remember killing everyone, besides they were being insolent. I don't like either of these options, but the second one seems a little more godly and arbitrary. And tell me, when you visited my sister, was the reunion loving and tender, like a father meeting his daughter for the first time should be? She had done nothing to harm you, after all. These plans are largely my doing. Hard to be tender when your daughter has the niceties of a troll. You didn't hesitate to slay her given the chance. Your own daughter, my best friend, and a war hero at that. You weren't there for the conversation. She threatened to kill me first. She got what she deserved. She was running a rogue war camp. As you say, and what of invoking your soul-binding powers? Can you tell me you never once took the will of a mortal? If I did, I was only using my divine powers. They were not irrevocably damaged. And what of Airline, your most loyal servant, busybody and bootlicker though he was? He died for your cause, and did you shed a tear? Did you give him a proper funeral, tell his loved ones? No, you merely went about your way, mayhap reassuring yourself he would have wanted you to carry on, but secretly relieved you did not need to trouble yourself. It wasn't like that. I was busy looking for you, and Airline made his own choices. Airline made his own choices. I don't want to justify myself to this prick. And did you meet any bandits or thugs on the road and leave them lying their own blood? You might have shown them mercy. You were more powerful than they. You might have merely disabled them or allowed them to flee. It's a harsh land, and many an honest man has unwillingly turned to crime to feed his family. You didn't have to cut them all down. They attacked me first. They made a choice to choose crime over starvation. Listen to yourself. You have no empathy at all for mortals. I could drown Coram in the amount of blood you've spilled. You stew over the deal I've given you like I'm asking you to do something terrible, but really, you've already killed as many in your time here. Who's the villain, I ask? I cannot argue with that. Well, I can argue with that. You are cold-blooded, your plan is cruel, calculating. I was merely meting out justice. Hear me, Nikolai, I'm not judging you. I'm merely trying to make this easier for you. If you had no qualms ravaging the Staglands already, you need not have any worries. Doing this one small task for me, it's no different, just more of the same. Yes, but... And think about it, you can wash your hands of guilt, for you were forced into this. You're the real victim here, manipulated and forced from your home, constantly near death and starvation. Truly, what other option was there? Vol needs its moonlord, you're a god after all, and what would we do without you? Fine, have done, Octavian, I give in. Wonderful, I knew you'd see reason eventually. We are not so different, you and I. Hold a moment and I'll relink your portal. Very well, I will do as I promised. It will take no less than a fortnight and the city of Coram will be underwater. Truly, this has been a pleasure. I must say farewell though, so many plans to set in motion. I imagine you won't want to show your face again in the Staglands, as I intend to blame Coram's demise on you. So if we don't meet again, know that I am most grateful and will remember you fondly. Goodbye, Nikolai. May the moonlight guide your path. As Octavian and his guards leave the tower, your unbound companions give a cry and hurl themselves at you. What? I would have liked to read that to the end. Hello? Well, let's just let them finish it, I suppose, and see what happens. Okay. What happens if I cannot cast my spells anymore, or no, apparently not. They're not really... Well, that's a bit weird. They're not really doing that much damage. I don't see why. This will take forever now. Oh man, really? Yeah, this is going to take an eternity if I try to fight back. Yeah. Not sure what the outcome of this is going to be, what at least we can talk about this. This conversation at some point just went railroaded and just basically forced me right into going along with him. Which I don't even really object to, because it's sort of the consequence of the choices that we made during the game. Come on, this is I'm trying to use foul creep on them and he just keeps shooting. I'm sorry about that. It's another one of these game ignoring the input moments. But yeah, this might be a somewhat severely dissatisfying ending. I've done it again, and it's not registering. Yeah, as far as endings go, this might be a little unsatisfying, but it's also very... How should I put this? Very... I'm trying to find the proper English word for this. It's not straightforward. It's... it takes into account all the consequences and it doesn't compromise. Uncompromising, I would say. Yeah, indeed. Like, it's an ending where I already had a feeling we were the bad guy, at least. You know, the game sort of sets you up to be the bad guy on your first playthrough. If you play this the regular way, like if you play it just by going along, leveling up, doing the quests, killing your enemies, and using the powers you have, like I did, then you will inevitably lock yourself in this conversation into a road where you will eventually go along with it, because I guess this is sort of a manifestation of his honeyed tongue. He's doing it again. Like, I had to, every single time I'm trying to use foul creep, I have to click it 3 times. So, like, I guess this point of no return in that conversation is just due to having done too many bad things, thus being the bad guy, and thus having the inclination to fall for his honeyed words, in a way. Ah, okay, saving final game for expansion. The real challenge is probably playing it again.
I finally tracked the Moon Lord to the western coast. My heart sang to see my lord descend alive, though only for a moment, for I could not overcome a feeling of dread as I drew the letter from my coat. I had the brief hope the summons it bore would be dismissed, but I saw intrigue flare in the god's eyes, and I knew they would be answered. I dared not speak against my lord, but I fear there is no good to come of heeding this demand. Only sorrow seems to follow the footsteps of gods that linger on Vol. And now we set sail, east, back to a host I am not eager to see again. My father, Erline, might have been able to persuade the Moonlord otherwise, but I could not match wills with such a force. I faltered, and to the east we sail.
I kind of have to rewatch that because I don't really get that particular part of the ending. So that was Erline's son, and we were, like, the party was on the ship with him. I don't think that's working as intended because we just killed them. So let's potentially ignore that bit. As far as the ending goes, I'm definitely completely on board with this. This is one of the best endings I have seen in an RPG as far as tracing your progress through the game and then wrapping it up at the end goes. Like, everything you do in the game matters, and I wouldn't doubt for a second that if you were to go through the game as the good guy, you'd get a different ending. And it's something I will definitely do. So I'm curious how that'll play out, because that's the one way I can only see that you will be able to prevent having to go along with Octavian's request, or rather his command to destroy Corum. Now, I realize this might be an ending that a lot of people will dislike. I have no doubt that a lot of people will go through this game and go, what the hell? I couldn't choose to say no. And I would say you could. You could choose to say no way in advance, just by playing the game a certain way. And if you want to say no, play the game again and say no by your actions. Just don't do what you did in your playthrough, where you essentially, fell into the traps that the developers set for you and made you do the evil things and take the easy way out and just go along maybe somewhat unthinkingly. It's a very nice way to portray Nikolai in the light that the game sort of wants him to be. I think sort of wanton and unthinking, and maybe not necessarily evil, but selfish and cruel, really like an old mythological god. I really love this. Like, it's making me appreciate the game on a level that a different ending might not have. I'm really quite stunned by how good the wrap-up was and how much, like, how many callbacks there were to what we did throughout the game. That's fairly brilliant. I really, hats off to Whale Studios. This is, as far as the writing went, it just went from above average to excellent in my book. Like, just the way it ended. Ending a video game, especially story-wise, is something that often falls flat. And here it just went up a couple of notches for me. I'm just completely and utterly somewhat in awe of pulling this off, because it's a ballsy move. Because most people, let's face it, will play this game, maybe not like I did, but similarly, where maybe not everyone will kill the natives, maybe not everyone will kill Maya, but enough people will fall into one of the pitfalls and lock themselves into having to tell Octavian, yeah, sure, okay, fine, let's destroy Corum, and just as long as I'm gone here, that's fine. What I don't really get is why the ending we got there in the cutscene was not in relation to the portal and going back to the moon. I mean, maybe we were tricked or something like that. I'll have to rewatch it, like I said, but it's not going to change my impression. I almost suspect, given the fact that the dead party members were in the picture again, that it might have played the wrong cutscene, which would be a little bit meh. But overall, it's already. I already thought the closure at the end was pretty perfect, where it basically forces you to kill your companions, and yeah, basically turns you into the villain, which, like I said, I think about around 10 episodes back, I started suspecting that we were the bad guy, around the time when we found the natives dead, and it just sort of dawned on me that every step we take is just, a trail of blood through the Staglands, just like Octavian said. So I love the setup, and I'm really curious to find a way to play through this game without doing that. I really wonder whether you can make the bandits surrender, though. That's one part where I have to look at the spell books again. Or whether that was just a bit of extraneous... whether that's the one part there that you can't really prevent, but given that they address it, I almost think there's a way. Maybe just running away or whatever. I'll have to look into this. This is intriguing to me, so I will very likely play through this again and just see how the game ends. When you take the good ending, I might actually record the good ending in a couple of weeks and just upload it as an alternative. But I'm very satisfied with this quote-unquote evil or wanton or arbitrary ending where Nikolai is just being portrayed the way he somewhat seems to be canonically. I mean, he seems to be an unthinking, selfish creature, and quite, even in his mortal time notwithstanding, quite disconnected. So yeah, I very much like how this turned out. I thank you very much for accompanying me on this journey. I found it rather gratifying to play this through with a, let's face it, like much larger audience than I anticipated when I started this this playthrough. A lot of you guys have found me through this video series, and I hope you stick around for the next couple of series. I will be starting a Legends of Eisenwald old school RPG playthrough on July the 2nd when it comes out. It's another one of those games that harken back to Darklands a tiny bit, so please look forward to that, and I thank you very, very much for bearing with me. I will see you in the next one, and for now, it just, leaves me to say good night and bye-bye. It's very late where I'm recording this, so bye for now.